Welcome to the Select Board meeting for Monday, November 24th. We'll call to order at 6:34 p.m. First item of business is discussion regarding Highway Department staffing. So we all came together and agreed to establish the additional position. Cody had approached myself and Glenn about being interested in staying in the position that he's in rather than moving to fire. And now that there is a position, it's something that we could consider. And he put forth a request to, for lack of a better way to put it, I guess rescind his acceptance of the other position and stay where he is if we would be willing to entertain it. And he's here if we have questions, but I know he also provided us his interest in a letter, so to consider before we take other action to go out to hire. And if we have questions, they can come up. It's up to you guys.
Say that if there's no concerns from Glenn regarding performance or any issues or anything like that, we've got continuity of staff, and we're going to hire for the position anyways. We have a known commodity, the value of work and everything else. Worst thing I can say is it's going to change the cost of posting and hiring from this position back to the fire department. So I don't see any real negative to this, unless there's something that I don't know about.
I too have no concerns, so I'd say welcome back, but he hasn't left, so.
You're welcome to stay.
You are welcome to stay, and we're glad you're staying with the Highway Department. So it's your desire to stay there, so I'm happy that that's the outcome.
So where it's currently an occupied position, there's no need to make any motions or anything. We're just
No, I think it's mostly to have the conversation, and we'll accept your withdrawing the acceptance of the fire position and staying where you are, and we'll work with Phil on next steps from there. And he's aware. Cody spoke with him as well before, so it is not a surprise that we're here having this conversation. So,
okay.
All right. Well, thank you. And
Hopefully
you made that hiring easy.
hopefully that's the toughest decision we have to make all night.
I hope so. All right. Brian, you'll work with the team on any paperwork we got to process, but I think we pretty much are pretty good.
Yes, we can connect tomorrow. We'll do the paperwork we need to do to adjust the situation, and then I'll work with Chief Wonka to begin the hiring.
Yep, I spoke with him earlier today and said we would get in touch with him. So,
yep,
if needed after tonight.
Yep.
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Review of the requested amendment for creditable service for the vacation leave, third read. So the feedback, I think briefly from council was just that there was no premise from the draft for language that it was to add or expand what was entitled in the entirety of the policy, just to basically accelerate the first step forward. And so it would be at the second tier for a longer period of time from if the board exercised that or the appointing authority exercised that clause, should we adopt it. And if we are, I don't think we've really talked too much if we're in favor of doing it or not, but if we are, then we can reach out to the bargaining units and discuss what steps we'd need to go through with them before we can consider adopting it.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that's what we want to do before we spend that effort.
I thought in one of our previous meetings, and I don't remember which one it was, I thought the consensus was that we were in favor of the adoptive change.
Maybe we were, and I
That
don't
was my-
recall. So that's-
No, I
kind of
think
my
there was,
recollection.
in principle, we were open to this idea, but I think we wanted clarification on that. Was it just that option of the town on that first step? And now we have a
Mhm.
clarification of that. So again, as a recruitment tool, as leverage or an option, it's not that we have to, but we have that option too, should we decide to use it as a lever. But I think the next step would be to talk to the bargaining units and discuss with them. I think we can move to that step at this time.
Makes sense to me.
I'll begin that process.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Surplus equipment request, the wastewater department, POTW number 2, third read.
So Pete and I did a site visit, as we discussed after your last meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and took more photos so we can get ready for the bid website if you're willing to surplus this, and to better understand what needs to be done to remove the equipment. It does have to come through the ceiling, and we better understand what the cover over the roof access point is. It's actually an item that's identified in your AMP plan for Plan 2 as something that needs to be upgraded and repaired. But there is an access point. What we didn't realize until we got there is that there's, over the years, conduits that have been run over that space. So the task will be back to Ursico to conduct all of the necessary electrical work to move that conduit to a place where it's not obstructing this access point, and letting us know when that equipment's ready to be removed. So even if you were to proceed, we would not be able to begin right away because there's some preliminary work that Ursico has to complete.
So is Versico, are they already aware of the concerns?
We did the walk with the chief operator at the plant. So yes.
And would their scope of work require them to be shut down or have a disruption in their service? Or
They didn't get into the details as to what is in those conduits and what needs to be adjusted. They were going to have to follow back up with the plant engineer. So
and it would be at their cost to do this work, or it would be at the
yeah, this is to be clear, and I don't know exactly when these conduits were installed, but these conduits were installed after the construction of the plant.
Mhm.
So this was intentionally a space designed as an access point for this belt press, and it has now been obstructed. That happened after the plant was constructed. Is that a fair representation?
Yes, except the plates, when they remove those should be replaced.
Come on up,
Sorry.
Pete. Please. So the what?
So my opinion, when we went over and looked at them, there's a hood above the press that they want to remove. Above that hood, there's the roof panels that would be removed. The roof panels have holes, you can see the sky. So they're rusted through. So I would think it would be fair that after, or when they pull the press, to fix the problem with the roof. Because you're just going to have water coming through. I mean, right now, it's a wet environment because there's a press there and they're running a press, so there's always moisture, high moisture content there. But I personally, if they pull the press, I would like to see the roof panels fixed. It is on the AMP program to do so. Doesn't make sense to put panels back on the roof when they have holes in them.
You wouldn't replace a broken window with another broken window.
Absolutely.
So Pete, will you continue to be our liaison to Ursico in this matter?
Sure.
Oversee what's happening and what they're doing and what process there
Mm-hmm.
is next and when it's finished?
Sure.
If you could just give us updates at least once a month, kind of, I don't know how quickly they'll work on it, but, whether something or nothing, just kind of keep us posted on where it's going,
Sure.
where they're at, or more often if needed. I think moving the conduits is the first thing, obviously, and all that, but then I think it's important to be clear that if it delays when they want to have this removed because they need to prepare to fix the roof at that time, then we'll at least want to know, but I think we want to make sure that they're prepared to do it at the same time. So
It
if
would
that
make
means this doesn't go out to
Right.
Bid until they're prepared, right? I think that needs to
Right.
be part of it.
Right. The way I understood it when we left, that they have their own electrician, so they can start working on that conduit removal. And then there's the hood that's above the press, and the hood was supposed to vent out outside, but the roof itself above the hood, I mean, there's holes that I could literally put my arm through and wave.
Is the
So,
hood staying? Does the hood stay, or does it go with the press?
They may shift the hood onto the other press that's currently there that they're using if it's big enough. If not, the hood would probably be disposed of also. Unless they have a need for it.
Does this roof access need to stay once the press is gone?
I would say probably for removing large, if anything had to go in or out.
Okay.
It's usually the easiest way. I didn't really see above the current press that they're using if that roof is removable to lift that out, or do they shift it over and pull it out the same hole as the old press?
That's a good question.
I can go speak with their head operator tomorrow at some point, or the next day or two.
I would just make sure you assess, I mean, I think, I don't speak for the board, but that you should review it and make sure there is the appropriate access to get equipment in and out that you deem appropriate.
Mhm.
If there's another one and that one's good enough and there's a different solution that they want to do to close up the roof after, maybe that's okay. But if they need that access, in your opinion, for equipment, or we do, in that building, then it needs to be repaired back to that function, right? So just leave that unless you guys have concerns, but leave that to you to make sure that and guide which way it goes.
Okay.
Does that work?
It does.
Okay. Other questions or
No.
concerns with it? So
No.
we'll get status updates. I mean, we can declare it now if we want, or we can wait. It's up to you guys.
Does it make sense to declare it conditional upon satisfaction of this work being completed, or does it make sense to wait until we are at the time to move forward? In the meantime, we've got a process to go through.
I don't think there's any harm in declaring it now if we want to. We can always wait and declare it then too, but either way, it's not gonna, the actual steps to put it out to bid isn't going to occur until the steps required are completed,
Correct.
because we have to oversee that. So
Right.
I think it's up to us whether we want to. The team will gatekeep that either way.
Right.
Just, would it expedite things on the back end if this process was already in flight?
As I said earlier, I don't assume to know everything, so it could very well expedite things, but 10 other things could pop up that I'm not aware of. So I think it is fine if you want to do this. I don't think it's a problem if you do make the motion, and then we have that ready to go. It's one step that is finalized, and then we can continue to work with Ursico on the rest.
Is there a preference to wait or to get, or to just do it?
I say just do it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, let's move
Yeah.
forward, rip the
Let's move
Band-Aid.
forward.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to declare Comline Sanderson Belt Filter Press Model G-GRS-SE-2, serial number as written, job and machine as listed, to be declared surplus and to be disposed of through the auction.
We'll be using an auction process.
The auction process, and to authorize Brian Smith, Town Administrator, to take all action relative thereto, conditional upon the necessary modifications to the current site being performed to the satisfaction of the town, overseen by Pete Sanders.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, you want to hang a second there? We'll
Sure.
do this one quick and come back to that. I'll come on to the next one for you. Surplus property request, second read for the museum committee.
I have no issues or concerns.
No issues. The only question I had was, would the library have any interest in adding these to their collection?
Let me follow up with the library
We can
director.
find out. We'll get that answer and then we'll put it on for a third read after. Discussion regarding draft agreement for Ursico's proposed upgrades in the Erving Center wastewater treatment plant, POTW number 2. And so this is the draft agreement. I think Brian and Pete were involved a little with, or at least with council, our council, and then they worked with Ursico as well to kind of come to this, at least draft language. Pete, you've had a chance to look it over?
Somewhat, not the whole thing.
Okay. Any concerns so far?
No.
There were some edits that Ursico had originally requested on our first draft. That led to a review that we all had, and then our council followed up with their council directly. We thought that would expedite the review process.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is that result of that final conversation between both parties.
Are council satisfied at this time?
Yes. The only question that is outstanding, they held a placeholder for you all to have a peer reviewer of your choice to be included in this agreement, so that any work that's being proposed, you can have an engineer that would be covered by Ursico's expense. And they assumed you were going to use time bond, as you've used time bond on all of your wastewater projects, but they didn't know if you were definitive on that or if you were open to considering other engineers. I told them I would ask the three of you, but I assumed it would be time bond.
Do we need to name it, or they're just asking if we want to?
The way it's worded, it would be named,
Okay.
but that provision could be altered, so it's not concrete at this time.
Okay.
I don't know why we would choose another at this time.
I don't know why we would choose another one at this time, but we don't claim to know everything, and strange things happen, and I would hate for contractual language to bind us into something that was no longer an option. So
Just keep
I
it
would
open.
say a more generic reference to this peer review would be appropriate.
Payment of cost incurred by the town for a third-party engineer of their choosing.
I think the only other part to that question was whether or not I could get a cost estimate as to what it may cost. If there was some language about limiting how far that cost would go.
I'm assuming that's Ursico's ask, is limiting it?
Correct.
I mean, it's their project, so I think well, I don't know what you two think. I think to the extent we need an engineer to look at something that they want to do at our facility, that's part of the agreement so far, is a cost that is theirs to bear, and I don't see why we would limit it, not that we would spend it unnecessarily, but
Right.
if we need to spend more, we need to spend more
Right.
to ensure that it meets the requirements.
Are you okay if I ask Time Bond to provide a quote, so we at least have that knowledge? Not for the purposes of putting it into the agreement, but for the three of you to have that number?
Yeah, I mean, I have
Sure.
no objection to that.
I don't mind personally, I don't know
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
guys do, if
No.
they know
No.
the number.
We're
It's an
both,
estimate.
I think all three of us are going, yep, okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
I think it's perfectly reasonable for them to have a understanding of what we're estimating that might cost. Just not for putting a
Right.
ceiling on it in the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll spend a bunch more money trying to redo the contract just to allow the ceiling to change, and that's a waste.
Okay, I'll work on that.
I assume you obviously have no concerns or interest in this time in having someone different look at it.
No.
Okay. So, hold on a second. Probably overanalyzing it, but in 2C, the reference to the company retaining equipment and contractors, it's more meaning the purchase of, not the ownership of. Because they're not going to retain ownership of the equipment. It's just that they're, as in terms of procuring, they're retaining it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way that I read it, is that
They're trying to address, the decision that we received back in 2019, 2020. It's an unusual public-private partnership where there's private land and equipment. There's private investment that's not going to flow through the town's bank.
Private land?
Sorry, public land.
Public land and
Back it up
equipment.
again.
Let's start
Public
over.
land, private investment, and
Got
as
it.
long as the two things remain separate, even though it's a complex situation, there's slightly different rules that would otherwise apply to a public procurement.
Like
so-
a 30B process, those type of thing.
Right.
But prevailing wage still applies. But
Prevailing wage still applies.
contracting rules do not in that other
Correct.
ways. Okay.
That was the opinion we received from the Attorney General. So I think this is just trying to tease out in the agreement that separation for those purposes.
Okay. When you're speaking with Ty and Bond, I think to the second comment, just ensuring that they believe a 45-day review is sufficient or not. That language under 3A.
Got it.
It sounds reasonable to me, but I'm not the subject matter expert looking at it, so. And it's a first read on this, obviously we're gonna have a few more reads. Any other items or comments or questions that anyone had so far?
I have no concern.
none at this time.
If you are carrying to your next meeting, would you like me to invite representation from ERCO to attend future meetings so that you're getting closer to discussing any issues with the proposed agreement? Or Would you rather continue to just do your own review at this time and wait till a later date?
I would prefer to continue and wait till a later date.
Okay.
How, does that work for you?
Yeah.
Have they has Ursico indicated when they would be providing the scope and plans, which are stated to be an exhibit in the contract? Because until we had those, we wouldn't be finalizing anyway.
Let me follow up and ask for that date.
Okay. I would speculate that once we have that and another read or two, we're probably going to be ready to then proceed with the meeting with them here to kind of
Yep.
get to the final, hopefully the final details, depending on what we see.
Got it.
All right, we'll carry for next meeting on the 8th
Got it.
and provide any feedback either then or before then. We can incorporate it if you see anything of concern or note.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Anything else for Pete? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Review of meeting minutes from November 10th, 2025.
Make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes of November 10th, 2025 as written.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
I missed the,
Sorry.
that's okay. All those in
I'll
favor?
shake my head loudly next time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Review and issuance of the 8th water commitment for FY26.
Make a motion, we approve the 8th water commitment for fiscal year 2026 final use and water charges in the amount of $175.00.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Negative.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion regarding Maple Avenue public layout concern and next steps.
So I don't know if you all recall this topic from 2 years ago, but we were working on the Bridge Street and Maple Avenue project. We were working on the wall and proposing a repave of Maple Avenue, and we came to realize that there were not accurate descriptions and or recorded plans for either street. There's monuments and there's meets and bounds, but there weren't accurate drawings. So we came to the board, asked for support to begin that work, and through the course of that work, our surveyor helped us realize that Maple Street ended shorter than I think many people assumed. In the scenario where 3 properties would not have frontage legally on the road. So as part of that conversation, we discussed with the board members at the time that we proposed to relocate Maple Avenue by extending those meets and bounds. It included working with one of the landowners to donate a strip of land about 16.5 feet wide and a couple hundred feet long to create a part of the road. We then used town land that also was about 16.5 feet wide for that same run to provide enough room to create this road layout. And we took that to town meeting, it got laid out, that was all January of '24. What I missed, and there's a screenshot in your memo, was that that town portion of land was not a straight line. So there was a gap. It's only a couple feet, but it's a gap between the property boundary and the edge of that road layout with the meets and bounds that we took to town meeting and recorded. So the end result of that is, of that transaction, 1 property ended up with proper frontage. 2 properties still have now a gap of town-owned land in between the road layout and the front of their properties. And so we're trying to figure out what, if anything, the board and the town would like to do to address the situation. So in your packet, we've obviously spoken to council, we've talked to one of the landowners who obviously has expressed concern. They weren't aware, from what I understand from them, they weren't aware or made aware that this was the scenario when they purchased their home. They purchased their home assuming they had frontage. We were trying to correct this issue. We actually brought this issue to their attention 2+ years ago. But now we realize that there's still this discrepancy. And it came to light when they were having a survey done of their property. So a few options exist. One, there's no legal requirement for you to do anything more than you've already done. I don't know that that is the best path forward, and that's not something that feels right to me, but that is an option. The second option would be to consider having a surveyor assist us with adjusting that layout one more time, and this time absorbing that strip of town land between the extended town layout and those two property owners. It's going to make for a slightly, I don't even know what shape that would be. What, concave? It's going to create a little bowed outlook to the layout, but that would resolve the issue. It would give those two properties proper frontage. Obviously, that requires taking it to town meeting and completing the layout process one more time. The last option would be to again have a surveyor assist us and have them create parcels of those little strips of land and ask the voters to make that land available and authorize the three of you to make it available for sale. Because it's so low in value and it's so small in terms of square footage, you could do a transaction with the abutters to rectify that issue. Because both motions require you to go through town meeting, I think my recommendation to you all would be to just amend the layout and correct that piece. If you instead wanted to go through the parcel and surplus process, we can do that, but you also would need to likely have an appraisal done for fair market value to sell them, and we just engaged appraisals for small parcels on another project, and they're running about $2,000 an appraisal.
Was this required to as well, like the last rounds did? Or
We're not
an
using,
appraisal and a review appraisal, or no? Maybe.
in theory,
So it might cost $4 or $5
correct.
for something that might be worth a few $100s. Potentially.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not.
I assume
You're
it
not
would-
speculating to
I
know, but
assume it would be very low value.
It seems to me, you know, for us to have the survey done, to have it corrected, providing current residents who, through no fault of theirs, acquired properties in good faith. To me, asking them for money, that doesn't really sit well with me. I think we can rectify the issue by going through the process. The second option that Brian mentioned, that would be my preferred path. Even if it's narrow path and long
Yes.
and awkwardly shaped.
Yes.
and if I'm just, am I reading the print properly? I'm assuming it's odd to the west side of
Yes.
Maple Ave, and the solid lines are the sliver. The dashed lines is what? The old roadway, the old paved
The
surface.
paved surface, yeah.
So that sweeping dashed part was the old paved surface.
Yeah, for greater context, I think where it got lost and confused over the years, it's the former Maple Avenue landfill. So it has always had a driveway to it. And so I think most people assumed that to the paved surface must be the road. And the road stopped, and then for a few hundred feet, it was just a driveway, a narrow driveway at that. But I think many just assumed it was a narrow roadway. So I'm sure that led to part of the confusion. There weren't very obvious monuments at the end. There wasn't a gate. There wasn't anything that would help reinforce that looked or functioned differently legally. So I guess I can appreciate where maybe the confusion existed, how it made it into so many legal documents over the years. It's a little bewildering to me because the town meeting records are very clear. So
So before we extended the road that had markers to the end of the actual official public way, that's the cross markers, but had this weird sliver in front of a property that was part of the driveway.
Right. For whatever reason, the shape to
that's
that
fine.
side is,
Weird.
it has some
Okay.
oddities to it. I don't know how to describe why.
It's probably one big parcel at one time, and who knows?
A lot of that was subdivided over the years. I believe that property was last subdivided in the early 80s. But I think some of the transactions that we're dealing with date back to the mid 40s or 50s. So,
And so your recommended proposal is just to push the road boundary out to the property boundaries on
Just
the
follow
west
that
side
contour.
and follow the contour there.
exactly.
It's extra wide, but doesn't paved, whatever. It's just officially the roadway instead of a sliver of property.
Correct.
So that's option 3?
That one is option 2. 3 would be to create parcels, I believe. Well, let me double check.
No, I think you got that backwards.
Did I?
Mm-hmm. Three is relocate the plan for the road, amending the layout, so the strips are part of it.
That is 3,
Four
so
is,
you were correct. My apologies.
so the recommended one is 3, which doesn't require selling property to make this
Correct.
happen.
So I'm in favor
Okay.
of recommendation 3. I'd like to think that we are and have been a friendly town, and wanting to do the right thing. So I would agree with option 3.
I agree with Bill.
Might as well. And so we'll have to get surveying done, and then we'll still have to bring plans to be adopted at town meeting
Correct.
for it to be finalized.
Correct. So what I can do in the meantime is work with Glenn to identify our surveyor, get you a proposal, see if you're comfortable with proceeding. Once we get that underway, we can get the new meets and bounds. I don't think it's going to be a lot of work. We have a recent survey with monuments out there, so I think it's going to be a fairly straightforward project. The question is just, with holidays and whatever existing workload the surveyor already has when we end up in the queue. But as soon as we have that, we can hold your hearing, notify the abutters, and then schedule for town meeting.
We have a budget for the surveying.
Our last one on this, I want to say, was approximately 7,000 or 8,000. This should be smaller. So I believe with one of our consulting lines, whether it's in the highway department or through our office, we can cover this.
All right, go ahead to proceed on
Okay.
option 3.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Review of the draft open space plan, open space and recreation plan update, first read.
It's a small document.
It's a good sized document.
So this, just for context, you are in the final year of your existing 7-year plan that was adopted back in 2018. And we have been in contract with FERCog's planning department since January. And the Open Space Committee has been meeting with them almost monthly. The committee worked, I want to say, in May, issued a public survey, collected public comment, and then they've spent all summer integrating all of that into this draft document. So the committee met about a week and a half ago, gave some further revisions, and then last week started distributing this to the Select Board, Rec Commission, Conservation Commission, and Planning Board, requesting feedback. And then for December 1st, we will have it go live for citizens to also review online and also provide us feedback. And the goal is to have it all back by December 31st, with the plan to have the Open Space Committee meet, I think it's January 6th, and do one final review before we send it to the state for review and hopefully adoption.
When does our current one expire? January or June? Or somewhere
I think it expires in December. And
of
I've
this
no-
year.
Correct.
Okay.
And I've notified the director of the program that this is the status of our review, and as long as we keep providing updates, we're in okay shape.
I know there's a lot to it. Just wanted to get it
Yeah.
on our docket and get started on the review process. Anything initially? Any questions or comments anyone has yet?
For me,
Um,
no, because I've seen the document evolve to this and I've been involved, so.
Okay, so really to us, yep.
Under Community Resilience Building Risk Matrix,
Okay.
under Environmental, it lists Kia, Brook, and Folly,
That's all
and
right.
the work that's been done to Folly is indicated to be done in Kia Brook, which
Let's
is
get that
not
fixed.
correct.
Hmm.
We will get that corrected. Thank you.
File that one under, look at something 1,000 times and need a new set of eyes to see what's wrong.
So is it me or is that not rendering well in the PDF? It's on, I think it's on page 65 in our,
Right,
Packet.
it is. Yeah.
and it's kind of blurry even when you zoom in, or is that just
Yeah.
me? I just wanted to make sure. I don't know if something happened there or if it's because there's color gradients behind it.
No, I
But
thought
I-
it was the PDF
Yeah, it's-
because
Yeah, I think
I had
something
to
about
print
it
it out
isn't
in
coming out
order
very
to really
clear.
see it.
Did it print fine?
It printed fine.
Okay,
You see it.
yeah.
I
That
mean,
looks
it's-
clearer from over here than this right in front of me.
right.
Okay.
I don't know if it looks fuzzy to you or is it just me?
I thought
in the
I
PDF.
thought it was because I couldn't find my reading glasses today, and it just, sorry.
No, that's fine. I just, in terms of the document going out to people and such,
Yeah.
if that is the way it really looks, and it's not just me, that was more my concern.
Yeah.
We should do something to clean that up before we send it out, because it will be hard for people to read. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a background color or what, but all the text is fuzzy. At least on mine, and
Yeah,
sounds
no,
like
it,
everybody's.
like I said, I thought it was me.
I will ask them if they can identify the reason that's happening, and if not, we'll find another way to present that.
Okay. It's odd if it's printing fine, but should be something to do to clean it up in the document.
Yeah, but not all residents will be printing this, so.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's hard to read through it the way it is. So, I don't want to have to print it either.
Though if anybody for the thousands listening, if you would like a printed copy, Town Hall has copies, so.
Great. Were there other items in there, or was that it? What about the ice jams? Are those also? Are they Farley, or are they supposed to be Erving Center?
Those were also Erving Center.
Okay.
Something happened in that chart.
Maybe worth having another set of eyes just go through it one more time for those things to make sure the locations are right, or are what was intended.
Right.
I want to say we had those discussions at our last meeting to make sure those were properly identified.
Okay, I'll go back through that.
Got some very detail-oriented people looking at these.
That's as far as I've gotten, but I will continue to go through it. And if I see anything, I'll bring it to your attention,
Perfect.
Brian.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. All right, we'll carry for another read next meeting. Before we go back to the PD item, we had been in discussions with Wendell about having a joint meeting tonight for relevant to the Farley Bridge, but I decided that we didn't have numbers or anything yet to really, firmly have a conversation that could maybe come out with decisions. So rather than spend a bunch of time just for what is a small update right now, I decided to not have that. There may have been some back and forth this morning, actually. But in addition, Wendell reached out and invited us for a meeting next week,
December 3rd.
December 3rd, to join them to have the discussion. And if I understood the invite, it is they would like to have the discussion regardless of whether we have like all the data points by then or not. I don't know if that is something the board would like to partake in, has time to, etc. Did you have a time on that?
I wasn't given a start time, but I can certainly follow up.
December 3rd is which date?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Would you be available to join us, Mr. McCrory? Would you like, well, if we can go, would you like him to join us?
Absolutely.
He is our SME on this.
I made the assumption, but you're all here, I should ask.
If I'm going, I'm bringing our brains with us.
I have a ZBA meeting at the same time, so I will
Is that
at
the
least be
ZBA?
delayed. It's the continuation of Care Drive.
Yep.
I don't think it will be a full meeting where they decide. I think they will do a quick update, discuss the next steps. They're waiting for the peer reviewer to provide commentary, and then continue. So, if it's brief, I can certainly come to Wendell and join you.
It looks like Wendell meets at 7 normally on Wednesdays, so
Okay.
assuming that is a normally scheduled meeting for them at 7.
Excuse me.
It's not the greatest time for me, but I can make it work.
I don't have anything planned yet.
Sounds like you. If we want to accept the invitation, you do now.
Yeah, I have no issue.
Taking this on the
So,
road.
It's Town Hall?
Taking the show on the road.
Field
Yikes.
trip.
I believe they meet at Wendell Town Hall.
Okay.
The town
7
office.
o'clock.
I will confirm that for you.
Okay.
If we are interested and able, then we'll RSVP and ask for confirmation of exactly when and where
Okay.
we are expected and join them. I expect we'd all join in person,
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
so we can let them know we'll try to all attend in person, but at least have a majority of the board there. I would expect. The only item, other than numbers, that I thought we may not be able to get any kind of directional answer on, but would be good to know if possible by then, is what possible outcomes are there of the ratings of that bridge if we don't do any repairs. Like there's a engineering response of like this needs to be done in 6 months, in a couple of years, that kind of thing, but what can we anticipate the Mass DOT bridge team is going to do with the bridge ratings if we did nothing, right? Or are we going to have 6 months, or are we going to have a year? I mean, we couldn't do it in 6 months if we started tomorrow, probably, reality says. But
Right.
what does it mean in terms of that side of it? You know, will they derate the bridge? It's already one lane. Will it derate it to the point that what can drive over it or not? Or will they not give us any direction until they actually go out and inspect it. But based on what we found so far, is that going to change anything? I think is an important data point to know, because whether we can afford it or not, there's also the practicality of, even if we put it back together, what does it do for us?
Right.
So.
We can try to reach out to District 2 and see if they can send the appropriate party out to meet with us.
Yeah, or
So.
just give us some feedback, if at all, on what they think so far. I don't know. I know I'm grasping, but it's hard to make a decision on this without knowing
Agreed.
how usable it'll be if we weren't able to do anything but put the decking back right now.
Right. Okay.
Well, thanks.
I was just gonna say, that's probably about one of the only things that has not been mentioned in any of this email conversation, is what happens to the bridge ratings in use, if it is just to get decked over right now before any of the steel work is done.
And that's my concern, and I know there's some estimated numbers. I don't know if we've sent them over yet, because the engineer said they seemed way high and went back and said, thinks things should be adjusted. And so they're doing their process, and that's fine, because I don't think any of the towns or anyone wants to act with bad numbers, right, or incorrect numbers. So we want the best numbers we can. But I think we also need to understand that what happens if we don't, to the bridge, to the rating, and what can go over it, and what can we anticipate at the next inspection, if nothing in between then and now, or now and then. What could we potentially be looking at? We know what it has happened to bridges before in other towns, in our town, so just some idea on where does that get us. Because I think assuming anything had happened in 6 months, even if that was our intent and we had funding, is a stretch.
Right.
And we have neither a decision nor funding. So I think we're farther than 6 months away, personally, from being able to do anything beyond whatever we decide now. So whatever we can get for information to help with that. They may not tell us anything. They may tell us, like, we couldn't tell you till we inspect it. But we've now reported that we found this to be in a worse condition than the last inspection. So I'm also curious, like, if we do nothing, is that going to change anything? Are they going to go, well, we know this now, and that means something different than the last inspection report?
So would you like us to reach out to the bridge inspection team for see if we can get that information before the 3rd?
That would be
I don't know if it's a
ideal.
possible thing, but I'm happy to make the call tomorrow.
Yeah, and is it Phil on Wendell's side?
Wendell's
that's been,
side,
Yeah,
road commissioner. Yep.
yeah, the road commissioner, to coordinate with him and find out. I know he's been having some of the engineering team reach out too, and just find out if they've already got that going. Great. If not, can we help do it? But anything we can do to try to get more of that information to make a fully informed decision, I think is going to be helpful.
I'll see if there's any way we can get at least something by the 3rd.
be
Whether it's
great.
a no, that's way too quick, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or it's
We'll
a
try.
no, we're not going to tell you. We'll inspect it again in 6 months. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
fine. But
Okay.
at least we'll know what we're dealing with.
Yep, I can do that.
That'd be great. Anything else we'd like to have for the 3rd that we haven't already asked for?
I don't think so.
I know they're continuing to work on numbers, so hopefully we'll have maybe something to talk about.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chief, come on up. So we have review of the police department commendations for Officer Mitchell Waldron and Mr. Todd Bucci.
Good evening, gentlemen. So you guys see in your packet, Sergeant Pecos brought to my attention about a call that involves Officer Waldron and a resident that lives here in town with an injured hiker or rock climber that had fallen at the Farley Ledges. And Sergeant Pecos had put it in writing that Mr. Bucci heard the person screaming for help and went out into the woods and located him. Which obviously, being a civilian, he was under no obligation to. So I think that that's greatly appreciated. And then Officer Waldron was able to safely get in as well and be able to direct additional resources and be able to provide first aid until more personnel got there. As you guys can see from the letter, it was a dangerous situation, nighttime, difficult terrain, and so forth. And so, based on Sergeant Pecos bringing it to my attention and me reviewing the facts, I do believe that it is warranted of an accommodation for both of them.
Well, thank you for recommending it, bringing it to our attention.
I am familiar with the call for service, and I appreciate the recognition being brought forward by you, Chief. The recommendation of the chief is to have this action be formally recognized by this board and add it to Officer Waldron's personnel file, which I support.
And a copy of the letter also sent to Mr. Bucci, if you
Yes.
guys feel necessary.
Now, I would like to thank both Officer Waldron and Mr. Bucci for their commitment to the safety of this injured individual, and specifically to Officer Waldron for his ongoing commitment to this community, its residents, and those who visit.
Agreed.
Job well done. Thank you.
I couldn't say better. I agree. Bill, anything to add?
I agree with all that Selectman Loin just stated. I appreciate the officers on a daily basis when they go out and risk their lives in the normal course of their duties. And there comes an occasion where we need to recognize when that risk is above and beyond. And I recognize both the private individual as well as the officer who went out and performed their duties flawlessly. I would only ask that I know there's a police website, and I've not ever looked at it, I have to say, but is it possible to have the Officer Waldron's letter of appreciation posted on the website?
What website?
Yes,
Do
on
you
the
have
town
the-
website.
Town
On the
website? Yep.
We
And-
are close to launching a new one, so it might, if you can give us just a couple weeks,
Okay.
because we're in this freeze period, but
Right.
when the new one launches, we can do that, right? That's just a technical thing going
Yep,
on,
yep.
so I just wanted to call that out, because the board's not necessarily kind of right up on speed on that.
And I would make that same request for Mr. Bucci, letter of appreciation, be placed on the website
Very
for all
good.
to see.
Do that, sir.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, thank you to Mr. Bucci and to Officer Waldron.
Yep.
That's not for the faint of heart on a good day and during the day. So being out there at night, and I think it was a wet night too, because I think we were here. Not the funnest thing, but great job.
Agreed. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
So we will do that, and we just confirm with Mr. Bucci that he's okay with having it up there. I mean, it's public record, but
I'll double check.
no, put it on the front page first. Anything else for tonight? We get the warrant. I'll make a motion that we approve the 12th accounts payable warrant for fiscal '26 in the aggregate amount of $418,698.59 as presented.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then, as authorized by the board, I approve the 10th payroll warrant for FY '26 in the aggregate amount of $235,394.90, and the 10th payroll benefits warrant in the aggregate amount of $81,460.70, both dated November 20th, 2025.
Second?
Just advisory.
Okay.
I don't think we need to, no, because it's already been done.
That was
This is, I was authorized, so just informational.
Thank you for taking care of that.
You're welcome. Any other business? All right. With that, we go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares, which I do so declare, New England Benevolent Police Association, Local 121 Police Unit. We will not return to regular session. Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor, roll call.
Selectman Moyne,
Aye.
Chairman Smith,
Aye.
Selectman Bevery.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.